My name is Deborah Wong. Welcome to the Caltrans 2018 District 7 Fallen Worker Memorial. I'd like to welcome all of you and the families of the fallen. We see the Tom family who's here with their 25th anniversary of his passing, and that's the wreath on his mannequin. The Mendoza family has been here and is with us every year that I've been here, so thank you for coming. I believe the Lopez family is stuck in the LA traffic, but they will be joining us later on today. So let's go ahead and get started. I will do my best to speak over the traffic. Now, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. She is our District 7 Director, Director Carrie Bowen, up on stage.
Thank you, Debbie. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us here in the South region for this somber occasion. And a special thank you to Guillaume Mendoza, the Thome and Lopez families. And as Debbie mentioned, the Lopez family is on their way to join us this morning, as we are here today to remember your loved ones and those that have passed in working for us on our freeways today. The Workers' Memorial is a time to honor the 32 District 7 employees who lost their lives building and maintaining and operating one of California's most valuable assets, its transportation system. Every day, Caltrans employees go to work knowing that they face real risks. Every time our people are working on a freeway or highway, they're exposed to speeding vehicles, removing illegal encampments, graffiti, litter, and debris, repairing bridges, filling potholes, and ensuring that traffic signals and ramp meterings are working. And it's your work that allows us to provide a safe and sustainable, integrated and efficient transportation system. But Caltrans' highest priority is safety, and that means providing a safe and efficient work zones for both you and the public. SB1 is going to invest more than $2 billion in maintenance and safety programs to address the pavement and bridges that fix drains and signals and systems here in District 7. And that means we're going to encounter even more work zones as we work to rebuild California. And that highway safety is everyone's responsibility. Every chance that I get to speak publicly, I ask motorists not to take their eyes off the road for even a second near a work zone, and remind them that when they do, these actions have tragic consequences. My message to the motorists and to the people that I'm talking to is that the work zones aren't delaying you. They kind of roll their eyes at me. But that these work zones are creating a safer and hopefully more efficient path for them, and that the workers have nothing more than an orange cone or a truck separating them from speeding traffic. More importantly, remember that our workers want to make it home to their families safely. My message to the Caltrans crews, to you guys out there and men and women, is to communicate with each other and to have each other's backs. And I know you do that every day. So be aware of your surroundings, and remember that's your #1 priorities. And I can't thank you enough for your professionalism and the tough work that you perform day in and day out. And I'm proud to introduce our new Caltrans Director. Please join me in welcoming her to our Workers' Memorial, Director LAURIE BERMAN. I'm not sure.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you all for joining us today as we recognize our fallen co-workers, workers who were fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, lost while keeping our state's highways in safe condition for the traveling public. On behalf of all of Caltrans, I offer my deepest condolences to the families, coworkers, and friends of the 188 Caltrans employees lost statewide. Today, my thoughts are particularly with the 32 Caltrans employees, your coworkers, friends, and relatives who have been lost here in District 7. I want to express my deep condolences to the families with us here today, and thank you for being part of the Caltrans family. The families of electrician Jorge Lopez, who was killed September 1st, 2016, when a semi-truck struck him as he was getting back into his vehicle. Family of landscape lead worker Juan Thome, killed April 28, 1993, by a distracted truck driver while he was checking on a landscape crew. And I understand that the Thome family has been at every memorial since then, and you really honor us by your presence here. Maintenance equipment operator Henry Rick Mendoza, who was killed by an errant truck driver on December 12, 1988, as he was setting up an aero trailer, and highway maintenance worker David Guillen, who was killed July 27, 1976, as he worked to cut a tree. We honor their ultimate sacrifice while serving the people of the state of California in Ventura and Los Angeles counties. Most of us here today know that highway workers put their lives on the line every single day. Near misses happen every single day, and there are countless individuals who have actually been injured on the job, some so seriously that their lives will never be the same. Highway workers also have been the target of angry motorists' aggression. Recently, an employee here in District 7 was punched in the face by an irate member of the public, and over a year ago, another was stabbed by a resident living adjacent to the crew's slope clearing operation. Caltrans employees should not have to endure this, and I know that you do on occasion. Other Caltrans workers are emotionally scarred by the effects of witnessing a tragedy in a work zone, and countless relatives suffer the grief of a lost loved one, knowing their family member will never come home. I want to also thank the Caltrans peer diffusers and thank them for the hard but critical job they do. I also want to mention that this past year, Caltrans lost 2 of our employees in Northern California. District 4 toll collector C.C. Hahn was killed December 2nd when a box truck crashed into the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge toll booth she was working in. The woman, known for her bright smile, worked for Caltrans for 10 years and left behind a grieving husband and a sweet 10-year-old daughter. The box truck driver was arrested on suspicion of DUI and vehicular manslaughter. Caltrans also lost District 4 structural steel paint supervisor Annette Brooks, who was shot and killed at the Rio Del maintenance station in Humboldt County last April. Annette was a beloved employee, co-worker, and friend. She worked for Caltrans for nearly 36 years and was the oldest of 6 siblings who are grateful for the emotional support of Annette's friends who have helped them through a very difficult year. Safety has always been Caltrans' #1 priority, and remembering our fallen coworkers is a sober reminder that we must continually recommit ourselves to safety every single day, whether it's finding a way to get a distracted driver's attention and alert them to slow down, or reminding ourselves never to get complacent in a work zone. Workers' memorial ceremonies held up and down the state are an important reminder, or an important opportunity to remind motorists to think about the fact that all those workers on the side of the highway, they're husbands and wives, they are parents, they are brothers and sisters and children. They are our friends and neighbors. They are working for your benefit, so please watch out for them. Taking our eyes off the road, or even just a few seconds, can have such tragic consequences and change countless lives forever. The men and women who build, repair, and maintain the state's 50,000 lane miles of state highways and freeways know they have one of the most dangerous jobs in America. The Los Angeles area has some of the heaviest traffic volumes in the world, which really limits opportunities to safely maintain and operate the highways and interstates while minimizing the impact on the motoring public. As an engineer who spent years working on our highways, I know that sometimes our only line of defense is the 10-pound orange plastic cones that alert motorists of work zones. For those of you working daily on our highways, we thank you for your hard work. For those of you injured in the line of duty, we are glad you are here and that you are able to remind us of the serious nature of your jobs. And for those of you who lost a family member, we grieve with you. And like you, we will never forget. I would like to appeal to those who use our traveled way. If you speed, text, drive impaired, distracted, or aggressively, you are putting your own life at risk, and you are putting other lives in serious danger. As Carrie mentioned, before Senate Bill 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017 passed, California's state highways and local roads faced about $137 billion in deferred maintenance needs. Now both Caltrans and local communities are working to catch up on years of unfunded maintenance, and that means there's going to be a lot more workers out on the roads. We've reached out over the years with different slogans to ask the same thing. Slow for the cone zone. Move over a lane when possible and slow down to keep you and our highway workers safe. And as the children of our highway workers have asked, be alert. Be work zone alert, because their parents are at work. Today, we honor those lost in the line of duty, working for the public's safety. Please honor their sacrifice by helping our workers get home safely to their families each night. Let there be no new losses at next year's memorial. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Berman. Next up, we actually have a speaker from the FHWA. That's the Federal Highway Administration. His name is Mr. Vince Mamano, and he's the Division Administrator. What does that mean? He's the top dog of FHWA in California, and we are honored to have him here, Mr. Vince Mamano.
I don't know. I like that top dog thing. I feel like 5'7". And I have to apologize for the glare for the people in the front row with the bell and my head. So I got an opportunity. I was talking to Carrie a few weeks ago, and she asked me if I'd be able to come down and speak at this. And I just, anytime I get an opportunity to do this, I say, yes, please let me do that. I've worked in 9 states around the country with the Federal Highway Administration, and I've been to these types of events all over the country, and every time it just floors me that people don't understand that this can happen to people who work day to day and go out every day. Every time I see something like this, the silhouettes that are over here, it's just such an impactful impression to me that it makes me keep saying the same things I try and say all the time. Thank you for what you do. I'm pretty sure I haven't read in the newspaper in the last 10 years or 15 or 25 years, hey, that maintenance crew did a great job by being in the way. Or, hey, that maintenance crew was out there. Or, hey, that Caltrans crew. Or, hey, that state DOT crew in the newspaper saying great, 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 great. When the reality is that the only thing you do almost every day is try and help save people's lives. And that never is the headline of your day-to-day job. It's the sort of thing you only get to go home and tell your friend, your spouse, your family. You can kind of high-five each other, and you know what? I probably saved a life today. And I don't think you all realize that every time, and it's something you need to realize, that you saved a life today. And it's a shame that everybody up there aren't looking to try and make sure they're not taking a life. So I appreciate what you do. It's just so, it's so interesting, the things that you all are doing. I'm pretty sure everybody out there doesn't realize you guys signed up to hop in the middle of traffic to get something out of the way, to take care of somebody, or to fix a culvert, or to fix something out there to take care of somebody else. I know a lot of people that were up there working in the, some people from District 7 went up to work with the flooding, and you're out there doing search and rescue. When there's a major event, and that's the one thing I always hear, when there's a major event, you got flooding, hurricane, earthquake, pick the things. Sorry, I'm from the East Coast, we say hurricane. That's when everybody says, wow, look at what Caltrans does. Because that's where it's on the newspaper, that's real obvious. You just need to know that it's obvious to a lot of people what you do every day, which is, to me, save lives. I appreciate what you do. I want to thank you. I grieve with you. I'm sorry for the losses that you've had. I have the opportunity at the statewide memorial service, which is next week. I have the opportunity to sit at that every year. And it's just so moving to me that people don't appreciate what you do. If it's any consolation, in Gold River, California, I make sure people know what you all do. I make sure they tell them to move over. The one thing I want to leave you with is be a vigilante in this area, because these are your lives you're talking about. These are your friends, these are your co-workers, these are your family. In putting your phone down, you know, I talk to people. Usually I got two of these, which I guess makes me 5'7", I don't know. And they buzz all the time, and I just got a new one that when I'm traveling, it says, send a text to say that I'm driving, I can't text you right now. And I thought, wow, that is what a clever, tells you how archaic I am. I moved out of my iPhone 1 into the iPhone 2. But it's up to us to make sure people understand that impact to us. And I say us because I'm part of the transportation community. But it's up to all of us to make sure people understand what that impact can do. The phone isn't worth it, that message isn't worth it, and you know that, so I'm pretty sure you will do that yourself. But don't be afraid to remind your friends at a party, remind your friends anywhere, just bring that up. Put your phone down, put your phone down, put your phone down. But anyway, I just want to end by saying thank you for what you do. We appreciate it in the transportation community. I appreciate it as the traveling public. And I actually know what you do, and I know the effort that you do, the risks that you take. And I'm sorry that the rest of the traveling public don't get it. So my hope is that's not the reason they get it. It's the reason they get it is because they're going to hear about it from us. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Mamano. Our next speaker is Mr. Tony Tavares. Now, I'm in charge of maintenance here in District 7. Mr. Tony Tavares is responsible for the maintenance division up and down the state of California. Mr. Tony Tavares.
Good morning. It is a great honor for me to be participating today in District 7's Workers' Memorial Ceremony. I'd like to thank the family members that have joined us. Thank you for the time that you shared your loved ones with us and for your attendance here today. Each year, Caltrans holds Workers' Memorial Ceremonies in every district to honor those men and women who have died while building, maintaining, and operating California's transportation system. As the chief of the Division of Maintenance, I am very aware of the dangers our employees face on a daily basis. And since 1921, Caltrans has had 188 work zone fatalities. The highest number of fatalities in Caltrans remains with the Division of Maintenance. This memorial serves as an important reminder of the danger our Caltrans crews endure every day on our roadways and it also serves to renew our commitment to safety. Safety continues to be Caltrans' #1 priority. According to the Federal Highway Administration's most recent statistics, there were over 96,000 crashes in work zones in the United States last year. That's an increase of 8% from the previous year. On average, a work zone crash occurred every 5 minutes. Think about it. Every day, 70 work zone crashes occurred that resulted in at least one injury. Every week, 12 work zone crashes occurred that resulted in at least one fatality. As a result of the significant dangers to those working on our roadways, we began launching numerous public awareness campaigns to educate drivers and ask them to slow for the cone zone. We did this because safety is a shared responsibility. We launched Slow for the Cone Zone to encourage safer driving in and around our work zones. The Move Over campaign to increase motorist awareness of the law that requires drivers to move over a lane or slow down when passing vehicles with flashing amber lights. And the Be Alert, My Mom or Dad is at Work campaign conveys the poignant message that Caltrans employees are mothers and fathers, and they too have families depending on them to return home every night. That's right, amen. Although these are Caltrans-related campaigns, we aren't the only ones out on the highway that must arrive home safely each day. We continue to work with our construction industry and our California Highway Patrol partners to find new ways to improve work zone safety. We will continue to use MAZEEP and COZEEP within our closures because a CHP presence enhances public awareness. I want to personally thank our partners at the California Highway Patrol for their continuing support in protecting our employees in our work zones. We rely on you and appreciate your continued support. After a historical winter season last year, fires ravaged Northern and Southern California, and Caltrans Maintenance was there assisting in so many ways. The state's largest fire, the Thomas Fire, burned over 281,000 acres in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. And almost as soon as this was extinguished, an intense storm hit Montecito and Santa Barbara in early January of this year, causing a devastating mudslide, which closed a 10-mile stretch of US 101 along with other state routes. Caltrans employees throughout the state, along with our contracting partners, came together as one team, worked tirelessly 24 hours a day for 2 weeks straight to clear, repair, and reopen US 101 and restore this vital north-south lifeline. Time and time again, I am amazed by all the outstanding employees we have in Caltrans. Events like these remind me that Caltrans is at its best when we are faced with challenges and when Californians depend on us the most, such as responding to emergencies, clearing traffic incidents, working in adverse weather conditions, performing our duties sometimes in the middle of the night, on weekends, and during holidays. With the implementation of Senate Bill 1, Californians again are calling on Caltrans, entrusting us with billions of dollars to fix and repair the state highway system. This is an exciting opportunity for Caltrans to shine and again be at its best. We haven't seen an investment in transportation like this in more than 2 decades, and this investment will help us address years of unfunded maintenance work. Over the next 10 years, there will be more maintenance activities and construction lane closures on our highways and freeways, repairing pavement, filling potholes, repairing guardrail, bridges, culverts, traffic management system elements, and refreshing our roadways with new 6-inch wide striping. With the increased presence of both Caltrans employees and contractors on our highways, I urge everyone here today and to the community here in the Los Angeles area to continue to place safety as your highest priority. I plead with the public to slow down, be alert when traveling through our maintenance and construction work zones. And to our employees here today, please continue to make safety a personal choice and a daily habit. We owe it to our coworkers, we owe it to our loved ones, and most importantly, we owe it to ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony, for acknowledging our sister agency, CHP. Our next speaker is Assistant Chief Mark Garrett, who represents the CHP, and I know him personally because he's the one that used to call me and tell me that President Obama was coming, and the Secret Service is going to need a little bit of Caltrans help. So if you would, please help me welcome CHP Assistant Chief Mark Garrett.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank everybody for inviting the CHP out to be a part of this very important event this morning. I would like to especially thank District 7 Director Carrie Bowen, and as Debbie said, I'd like to thank Tony for the very kind words. It means a great deal to us as a department and a great deal to me personally. I've spent my entire 27 years, I've been very fortunate to spend the entire 27 years of my career here in Southern Division, which happens to be right in the operational heart of Caltrans District 7. And I want everybody to just take a second to look around, behind you, next to you, including our families here, and look at all the people that are representing the cause we're here and the memorial we are here to honor. Some of those people include some of my colleagues, Captain Tommy Cocroft from our West Los Angeles office, Sergeant Saul Gomez and his crew from our Public Information office here in Southern Division. And this exemplifies the real family that we have, the relationship that Debbie and Carrie and I have, and really exemplifies how important it is to achieve these goals of safety and to eliminate the types of tragedies we are here today to memorialize by working as a team and a partner in our common goal, even though we're two different departments, of public safety. It's a very, very poignant point. Remember that all this is done through individuals that we see here today. Last year, the CHP unfortunately suffered the loss of two of its uniformed employees, Officer Lucas Shalou and Officer Joseph Camilleri. The Caltrans department understands all too well the pain that we suffer. It's something that none of us wanted to go through again. We are here today to remember and recognize those Caltrans employees that have given the ultimate, paid the ultimate sacrifice in the endeavor of public safety. And speaking of families and partnerships, it's not just public, but the Highway Patrol specifically, we have aggressively engaged in public and private partnerships to achieve the safety goal. Last year, we had a campaign with the Auto Club, ourselves, and with John Force Drag Racing for the Move Over, Slow Down campaign. And tens of thousands of people here in this state attended those events and saw that campaign and saw our uniformed personnel there promoting that program and explaining why it's so important that when they're driving their cars, they are driving, that operating that motor vehicle is the most important thing that they can do at that moment or that time while they're driving. So even with our private partners, that we work very hard to make sure that we ensure the safety of all motorists, but especially our Caltrans workers out there trying to make those freeways safer and more efficient for the motoring public. We know how hard District 7 employees, as well as the entire department of Caltrans works. But again, this goes back to my relationship. I don't think of Caltrans as a sister agency. I know people very intimately here in this county that I've worked with. And all the years when I was a patrol officer and called for Caltrans assistance or rolled out to help them, I was rolling out to people that I knew personally. And that's the way I feel about all of you here and the families that have suffered the tremendous loss of a loved one performing those duties. And because of that personally, those employees will never be forgotten. Their memories will always be honored. And I thank all of you for your efforts and your service to the state of California and to general public safety. Thank you.
Now we will begin with the reading of the names. They will say their names and a little short story about themselves, and then list some of the names.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'd like to first thank to all the rank and file that's out here to do what we do every day with a thankless job. My name is Harold Jones. Last year, July 5th, 2017, I was rear-ended while advance warning for the sweeping crew. I sustained my injuries. I was out for nearly 6 months. Now I'm back to work at 705 in Long Beach at a great crew. I'll be reading names that's on the list, beginning with Thomas Gilbright, Jose Dominguez, Albert Schmuck, Fred Pettit, Von Scheft, Frederick Wilhite, Frank Smith, Leroy Exum, Roger Murr, and Thomas Brongart. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Richard Almanzon, manager over at District 7 Special Crews. I'm very privileged to be a part of a team who truly values safety, job number one, as they conduct their work, plan it, schedule it, train it. Safety is always number one with our team. In addition to the impact that an injury or a fatality can have with our crew members, there's also another significant impact, and that's the emotional impact. I know our director, Ms. Berman, had mentioned the peer diffusing team. I'm one of the members on the peer diffusing team, where we go out and we meet with the crew immediately following an injury, something significant in the crew, and we help the crew with strategies that can help them get through and cope with a lot of the emotions that are the after effect in witnessing an accident. So very privileged to be a part of that team. I'm going to go ahead and read the next names. Donald Parker, Norman Lubig, Emery Price, Claude Thiel, Arthur Silva, Donald Beasley, Kanika Burrows, John Haynes, Richard Singleton, Glenn Fenwick.
My name is Clarinetta B. Williams. I was working in the work zone in Artesia and Sepulveda. March 16, 2017. I thank God for all my employees that was there, mainly Roger. He picked me off the ground after getting hit. Thank you for being here. Now I'm gonna read the names. Raul R.E. Mendez, Samuel Ho, Thomas Davis, James Copeland, Roger Haney, Dennis Sparks, Cedric Duin Neon, Jerry Alcalin, Kylie Buser Jones, Paul Chavez. Thank you. May God bless you.
For those of you that may not know Clarinetta, she was actually pushed out of the way of two vehicles that came together and came basically skidding toward her, and her co-worker pushed her out of the way. And her co-worker is up for the Governor's Medal of Honor for his act of bravery. Let me continue with the names. Charles Deming, Enrique Sanchez, Bill Gunn, David Guillen, Henry Rick Mendoza, Juan Tom, and Jorge Lopez. I'd like to observe a moment of silence so our Caltrans family can sit and just absorb the moment. That is a life-changing sound for all highway workers. It's the moment where you look up and if you're frozen, you're frozen. But however, maybe you ran to the pre-planned escape route and you just hope you chose right. Sometimes there's no sound of skidding, just a huge concussion of energy and impact where time seems to stand still. We need motorists to understand to drive careful next to their work zones. As you enter the yard, you went through a mock work zone, complete with a CMS truck alerting you of closure, safety devices like the advanced warning signs, the arrow board, vehicles acting as a barrier, and 10-pound cones. All of this equipment is there to alert a motorist of a work zone. Because really, it's just a 10-pound cone between the drivers and our employees. Now these mannequins, they represent those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. You know what they don't represent? They don't represent the employees who have had close calls. If you've had a close call, I have a lot of maintenance people here. If you've ever been in a work zone and you've had a close call, can you raise your hand? I want to look around. For those of you who have witnessed the devastation of a life-altering injury of your coworkers, if you've seen that, please raise your hand. Look around. Those who have been injured during an errant vehicle coming into the closure, some of you all have injured so badly that you haven't even come back to work, or you haven't been able to come back in the same capacity. If you're one of them, please raise your hand. Wow. Now for those of you that have raised your hand, can you come over here and stand amongst the mannequins, please? That's a lot of people, I know, but I need to show. I feel like I really need to acknowledge those that were work zone alert. God watched them that day. They still keep coming. So on behalf of District 7, Caltrans up and down the state, FHWA, CHP, and all the workers that are up here, not represented by a mannequin, the families that are here impacted by loss of loved ones, I'm gonna ask you to slow for the cone zone, move over when you see our emergency lights activated, and just be work zones, put the cell phones down. So this concludes the 2018 District 7 Fallen Worker Memorial. Thank you for coming.